Petunia held Lily's hand, reassuring her that their parents would be excited about the magic trick, even though Lily was unsure how it worked. They were interrupted by Severus Snape, whom they had been looking for. Despite his awkwardness, Lily eagerly invited him to join them, and Petunia teasingly warned him not to resist her sister's grip. During dinner, the Evans family warmed up to Severus, who was quiet but polite. When they learned that Severus would be attending the same school as the girls, Mrs. Evans offered him a ride. Severus hesitated, but Petunia used a clever tactic, pretending concern for her health, to convince him to accept. She framed it as a mutually beneficial arrangement. Severus would ensure the girls' safety, and in return, he would get a ride. After some persuasion, Severus agreed, and the family celebrated the arrangement. The children were then sent outside to enjoy the sunshine, and Lily eagerly led them away, likely to avoid helping with the dishes. As the three children walked, Lily's lively chatter filled the air, with Petunia and Severus responding occasionally. They stopped near a tree by a pond, and Lily grew quiet, tugging at the grass. Petunia encouraged her to ask Severus about the flowers, and Lily eagerly did. Severus gave a brief explanation of magic, which thrilled Lily, especially the idea of magical books. Petunia, although unable to partake in the magic, was excited about the possibility of reading those books herself. Lily's excitement quickly turned to disappointment when Petunia reminded her that she wouldn't have magic, explaining that she hadn't received a Hogwarts letter at age 11. Petunia reassured her, offering to stay in touch and learn everything Lily discovered. Despite her sister's disappointment, Petunia encouraged her to make the most of the time left before Lily went to school. The conversation turned to Severus, and Petunia began bombarding him with questions about the magical world, surprising him with her knowledge. Severus hesitated, but offered to borrow books from his mother for them to learn together. Petunia, however, suggested they could figure something out, even if they couldn't get magical books right away. As dusk settled in, Petunia took the opportunity to speak privately with Severus, admitting that while she wouldn't be able to experience the magical world, she wanted to learn about it to keep Lily safe. Severus seemed intrigued by her perspective, and Petunia calmly explained that she wanted Lily to see the wonder of it all before encountering its darker sides. The conversation ended with Severus commenting that Petunia was different than he expected, to which she responded with a knowing smile. As they waited for Lily to finish running, Petunia realized they all needed to be physically prepared for the challenges ahead. Petunia carefully peeled off the bandage, wincing as it tugged at her healing skin. The wound was almost fully healed, but the doctor's prediction about it leaving a scar was accurate. She couldn't help but notice how the mark looked strikingly similar to the one Harry Potter bore in the movies. The irony of it wasn't lost on her. Had she already begun to change things for the better? She could only hope. Her thoughts were interrupted by Lily's loud voice calling her from the house. "Petunia!" Petunia turned, preparing for the onslaught of her sister's excitement. She matched Lily's tone, yelling back from the bathroom, "In here!" Lily came rushing into the bathroom, nearly slipping on the wooden floor as she skidded to a stop. Despite the near disaster, the little girl's eyes still sparkled with enthusiasm. "Are you ready yet?" Lily asked, her voice filled with excitement. Petunia rolled her eyes, amused by the urgency in her sister's question. "No," she said, glancing at her reflection in the mirror. "Almost, though." "Ugh!" Lily slumped dramatically. "We're gonna be late." Petunia glanced at the clock. It wasn't even 7:30 yet. She turned back to her sister, amused by the overreaction. "It's not even 7:30 yet. I've got plenty of time." Lily's bottom lip poked out in a dramatic pout. "Tunny!" she whined. Petunia smiled, shaking her head at her sister's antics. "Go on." If you keep distracting me, we might actually be late." Lily gasped, mortified by the possibility. She bolted out of the room, almost slipping again, but managing to catch herself. As she ran down the stairs, Petunia called after her, "Check your bag, and make sure you have everything." Petunia finished adjusting her appearance and smiled at her reflection. She couldn't blame Lily for being excited. It was the first day of school, after all. The summer had flown by, with Severus visiting more often and teaching the girls everything he could about magic. Although he hadn't managed to borrow any books from his mother, there was still plenty of time to learn. Petunia gathered her bag and jacket from her room, already prepared for the day. She'd packed her lunch the night before, and both Lily's and Severus's as well, much to her mother's amusement. By the end of summer, Severus had become a regular presence at their house. He had even joined them for dinner 3 times a week. It took all of them working together to convince him, but it had worked. They'd even managed to give him some new clothes. Well, new was a relative term. They were her father's old clothes, but still in good condition, and a better fit for him than his old ones. Petunia's thoughts were interrupted when her mother called down the stairs. "You ready to go, my dear?" Petunia looked up and smiled at her mother. "As ready as I can be." She glanced around the room. "Is Severus here yet?" Her mother shook her head. "No, you best wait for him outside. I'm going to find Lily before she tries to pack another book." Petunia chuckled at the thought. Lily had tried to pack 6 books the night before, worried she might run out of reading material. Honestly, Petunia thought, she was like Hermione Granger in the making. Sitting on the steps outside, Petunia gazed at the morning sky. The summer had been productive. While they hadn't managed to take any self-defense classes, Petunia had ensured they all got plenty of exercise. Lily had loved it, while Severus had grumbled but still joined in, hiding a small smile. Petunia had been hard at work on her stories, drafting 2 short stories. She'd also submitted an entry for a writing competition, though she hadn't heard back yet. The typewriters at the library were a revelation. It was slower than the keyboards she used in her past life, but still faster than writing by hand. The librarians had been wary at first, but after seeing Petunia's determination, they trusted her with the machines. She was eager to have access to the school's typewriters. The fee was already covered, and it was the perfect opportunity to write during school hours, completing the busy work while dedicating the rest of her time to her stories. Petunia was excited. This would be the perfect balance between school and writing. Her thoughts were interrupted when she heard a voice. "What's got you smiling like that?" Petunia jumped slightly at the sudden question and looked up to find Severus standing there. He was wearing one of his new outfits, a dark green button-down shirt and dark jeans, carrying her father's old leather messenger bag. Petunia smiled at the sight, noting how Severus had filled out a little over the summer. "Oh, good morning, Mr. Snape," she said, giving him a bright smile. "Ready for classes?" Severus didn't immediately respond. His lips pursed in thought. After a moment, he shrugged. "I suppose. I'm not expecting much for the first day." Before Petunia could respond, Lily burst through the door and immediately tackled Severus with her usual enthusiasm. He was already used to the energetic greetings, nodding and responding to Lily's barrage of excited words, as Petunia couldn't help but smile at the sight. The drive to school was filled with more of the same. Lily chatting excitedly, Severus responding as best as he could, and Petunia making plans in her head for the day. Mrs. Evans dropped them off with hugs all around, though Severus stiffened slightly at the touch. He was still getting used to the affection, but Petunia could see he was improving. Lily and Severus had classes on the other side of the school, but they all shared a lunch period. Petunia was looking forward to getting a head start on her writing, but she knew she couldn't skip out, After all, for the sake of their development, she had to make sure they all stuck together. With a wave, she sent the two magical children off and made her way to her first class. The school year was just beginning, and Petunia was already planning how to make the most of it.